Hey folks, this is Vent with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and welcome to the DGA Awards for 2021. I am your host, Vince, and with me is...
Oh, Idly.
Idly. She forgot her name there for a minute. No. So, like last year, we're going to do a quick list of games that we played in 2021 and really liked, regardless of release dates. If I had more money and more time and owned more games and were given access to more games, I might be able to do an exclusive list for those games released exclusively in 2021, but this is a hobby right now, so yeah, I'll take what I can get. So again, top 10 board games that we played in 2021 that we really liked. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. It'll take me 2 seconds to queue this up. Okay, so my number 10 was Role Player and the expansions that come with it. I believe the expansions were called Fiends and Familiars and Monsters and Minions. Now, I have reviewed and played Role Player before this, but before 2021, but I have never played the expansions before. So I guess I'm kind of cheating, but not. The expansions to Role Player, I think, add so much to this game. For those of you that have never heard of Role Player, it's a RPG, but with dice, where your sole goal is to build a character across attributes like strength and dexterity, constitution, intelligence. And at the beginning of the game, you're given this character sheet, so to speak. And it's going to tell you what kind of alignment you need to shoot for, or what kind of, what kind of class you are, and by extension, what your character attributes need to be in order to score the most points. And then when players roll dice, they get to draft them and put these dice into their attribute slots to try and make their attribute the number that they want. It's a really cool system. And again, the Fiends and Familiars and the Monsters and Minions expansions really add to it. I think the Fiends and Familiars, the Fiends are like debuffs that are added. Like, let's say you take a card and a Fiend along with it. The Fiend will give you some kind of negative debuff until you get rid of it. Familiars are just like special characters that accompany you and help you out. Monsters and Minions, it's another separate expansion, but it's really cool. There's like a final boss at the end, and you reveal information about it as you continue playing, and you discover its weaknesses, and you're able to defeat the monster easier at the end. It's kind of like an added boss fight mechanic. It's a really cool game. So that made my number 10. Do you remember this game, Idly?
I do. I love that game.
You love it.
It's great. I actually kind of forgot about it, though, so I kind of want to replace my number 10 with it, to be honest.
Well, again, I kind of cheated. I mean, we have played Role Player before 2021, but this is a game that we did play in 2021, and I think we introduced it to Nick and Lily, who really seemed to enjoy it. And there's even a solo mode, too, which you can play, which is really cool. So anything else to say about Role Player before we move on?
Fantastic game.
Fantastic game. Okay. With that being said, I'll go ahead and move on to your number 10, which is what?
Adventure Mart.
Adventure Mart. This was a cool little game. Why don't you tell me a little about it?
You bid and you buy things like cards and deck builders.
All right, then. So there you go. That is Adventure. No. So
there you go. Number 9.
That was really quick. So Adventure Mart is a shopkeeper-themed game where each player plays the role of a shopkeeper, and you maintain an inventory. As Idly mentioned, there is a deck-building element. You start the hand with a deck of cards, and you're able to purchase more cards along the way. And these cards are representative of stock that you can sell to customers that show up. Every round, there's like face-down customers. You reveal them, and then players bid against each other by playing their stock, kind of throwing their cards at the customer, and whoever has the better deal wins the customer and gets to keep them for victory points. You can also earn money depending on what the card says. You have to be careful not to overcommit like you might throw 12 gold worth of merchandise or whatever or value at the customer, but they only brought 5 along with them. Sure, you may have won the bid with 12, but you're only going to earn 5 coin because that's all the customer had. So there's sort of like you have to figure out how much you really want to commit to customers as they come up. You can also equip various cards, like there's staff, and I think there's like special green cards that give you something. They're like passive bonuses. It's a really cool game, and I had this as my number 10, but Role Player kind of won out. So anything? What did you like about it?
I mean, I don't really like the bidding aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very cutthroat sometimes.
It is.
But I loved the theme. I thought it was really cute. And that's why I made it to the top 10.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So, number 9?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, my number 9 was Bullet. Now, I don't want to say too much about this because I believe it's on the list for later, something you may have had. So, maybe we'll hold on to that kind of talk until we're ready to get there. I will just simply say that Bullet, for those of you that don't know, it's kind of similar to, I wouldn't say Tetris. You don't have tetramino pieces, but there is like a mechanic where I guess, I don't know what tokens, they fall from your top part of your board and they move downward, and if they reach the bottom you take damage, and you have to like shoot with bullets, I guess, these tokens before they do so. And it's cutthroat because whenever you clear stuff off of your board, it gets moved onto your opponent's board, similar to, say, of Tetris or Dr. Mario or other themed games of the sort. It's interesting, but again, we have more to say about that for later. What was your number 9?
My number 9 was Lawyer Up.
Lawyer Up intrigued me a lot, just because there's not a whole lot of games out there like this, especially with like a Law and Order theme where one person's the prosecution, one person is the defender, and for the most part, there's 2 parts to this game. The first part is stacking your deck. Like, you get to draw 3 cards. You pick 1 to keep, 1 to give your opponent, and 1 to throw away. And not a whole lot of games do that. There's another game I remember called Biblios that does that. But that's the first half of the game, is creating your deck. And then, of course, seeding your opponent's deck. And then getting rid of cards that you don't like. And then the second half of the game is you call witnesses to the stand. They are sort of geared a certain way and have certain like professional interests and specialties, that kind of thing. And you're trying to match the token or the symbols that are on your cards in your hand to the symbols that are to that character. And whoever does that the best, it's like a back and forth tug of war thing, gets to win that what's the word I'm looking for?
The juror?
Not the juror, but the person on the stand. The witness.
Oh, the witness. Yeah.
So you're fighting for these witnesses to come to your side. Now, the ultimate goal, as you mentioned, there are jurors in this game, and you get to sway the jurors' thoughts either toward the prosecution or toward the defendant. And obviously you want to sway them to your side if at all possible. There are different game modes, so the game ending conditions are different. But what did you like about this game?
I loved the theme. I was so excited to play it the first time I heard of it. So I remember just waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally, we got to play it. And it was a lot of fun. There was so much to learn, though.
Yeah.
That kind of threw me off a bit, and it took a while to set up.
There's a lot of iconography. There are different cases, and you have to put, like, these cards go in this case, and you're going to add these jurors to these. Like, there's different jurors for the different cases, and there's a different judge, and there's, like, main witnesses and side witnesses. It is pretty involved. So don't expect your first playthrough to go smoothly, I guess.
Yeah, and that's why it's all the way up on my number 9. Otherwise, it would have been closer to number one. But
Just because it was
yeah.
more difficult to play?
Yeah, it was confusing. Like it was still you once you got like the run of the mill, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Run of the mill. Once you got going, like it got going.
Once you got the sky, yeah, yeah.
But
Words.
it's just yeah, I'm having trouble with them.
It's
But
all good.
it's a complicated game to learn at first, but once you get it, you get it, and it's pretty fun. It's just you feel bad for anyone that is trying to set it up and like explain it to you. 'Cause it's
I don't know
really
what
tough
you're
to
talking about. I've never had that problem ever. Mm-mm. Yeah. So that was your number 9. I
Yeah.
also liked Lawyer Up. Not enough to be put on this list, but I did like it for its theme and for
Yeah.
the way it played.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 8 is a game called Dice Throne. Again, I believe that may be on your list for later, so I don't want to say too much about it for right now.
Great.
Okay, well, we're just going to fly by the seat of our pants. Well, Dice Throne is a game where you basically, it's a 1v1. It could be more. I just prefer 1v1. And you roll dice and attack each other, basically. I think the biggest draw to this game are the different characters. Think Street Fighter 2 from the arcade machine. You have Ryu and Ken, Blanca, E Honda, Dalsum, Zangief. I can keep going. Ding! Vega. Anyway, so think of each character did something unique, right? You've got that here in Dice Throne. You've got a vampire. You've got a paladin. You've got, I don't even, ninja. Whatever other characters there are. Like, you've got all these different characters. Pyromancer. And
Monk.
each of them have different abilities. And you roll dice on your turn. It's kind of like Yahtzee, where you're trying to form certain combinations to activate these powers. Like, this power might be 3 swords and 2 shuriken, or whatever. Again, each dice is different for each character. And these dice not only have symbols on them, but numbers. So sometimes you'll be using the numbers, sometimes you'll be using the symbols. Again, it's on your list, Hun, so do you just want to stop it there and move on to the next one, or do you want to talk about it
you.
now?
I don't care. It's
All
up
right,
to you.
well, we'll come back.
I love the game. That's all.
Okay, we'll come back to it since it's on your part of it. So your number 7 was what now?
Number 8. Are we on 8 or 7?
This is 7. Oh, I'm sorry, 8. Yeah, you're right, 8.
Okay.
My bad. What was your number 8?
Aquatica.
Aquatica. This is a game I wanted to like. I still like it, but something rubbed me the wrong way with this game. Tell me about it.
It has card sleeves like Mystic Veil, but it plays a little bit differently. Probably a lot of bit differently.
A little. Just to clarify, there aren't card sleeves like in Evervale. They're not clear plastic sleeves. Rather, each player has a board in front of them, and you can slide the card into the board. And you can use the special abilities that are on those cards, but you don't actually score the card until you get all the way through it. That's an interesting mechanic I haven't seen very much. But like most card games of this sort, you can purchase cards from an array. It's also got that Concordia card system where you have a hand of cards. Everyone starts with the same hand of cards. And as you play cards, they go into a discard pile. And these cards typically let you do actions. But there's always one card that is in your hands that lets you take everything from your discard pile and put it back into your hand. So if you've played the card game or the board game Concordia, then you'll be very familiar with how the hand system works in this game. And you can even purchase new cards to add to your hand like you could in Concordia. So it's got a little bit of everything in this game. You're fighting to get... Mainly, you're trying to get a certain thing first, like achievements. You're achievement hunting in this game. And Ida Lee, was able to blow me out of the water in our playthrough because I was too busy with the deck building and the resource building and stuff to really worry about achievements. But she rushed those achievements and completely won. So I wish the game were longer. But that was my fault for making it longer than it should have been. I always do that with engine builders. But
I just liked the theme of it. It was really cool, even though there's there's a few water-based games out there, but I thought this one did it really well because it felt pretty immersive, and I loved the gameplay. Like I thought the gameplay was actually um, unique, I guess, in the sense that well, no, because it's a deck builder of sorts, isn't it?
It's a deck builder. It's you've got a little bit of resource management in terms of cards in your hand. You also have these like tokens that you can use every now and again, and you can refresh these tokens through certain actions. But it's mainly a resource slash card builder. Oh, but you're also fighting for cards on the table, and also fighting for achievements. That's typically what the game is about. There's more to it, but we only have so long. So
it was a fun game.
It was. I agree. It was a good game. My number 7, there we go, was the Manhattan Project, Energy Empire. I love energy stuff. In fact, if we had played Power Grid in 2021, that would have been here in place of this. But I for whatever reason, I like energy-based games like Power Grid. You're auctioning power plants and fighting for resources. You know, this person has gas power plants and this person has coal power plants, and the market is short on this, but has an abundance of this resource. So you want to fight for these power plants, or just go clean. You can go clean if you want. This game is a bit different. It's a worker placement game at its heart. You're going to be placing workers onto the board, trying to take various actions. You can grab cards and purchase them, put them in your array. You activate those cards based on their color. If you put a worker onto the board in a particular colored area, all cards that are matching that color in your array activate. And so as long as you've got the workers and the energy, you can activate these cards and do more things. You've got a pollution board in front of you that you have to manage. Some cards pollute, so that's negative points at the end of the game and prevents you from doing certain things. There's even like public goals that you can fight for, and some of those goals might be, keep this many air things clean, or air spots on your board clean, keep so many water spots on your board clean. And there's different energy types too in this game. You roll for energy in this game, and you're going to be trying to generate energy via these different power plants. And it's weird. The energy in this game is represented by dice. You roll dice, and that whatever the results are, that's the energy you get for your following turn. It's weird, but there's a lot to this game, and I really liked it. Do you remember playing this at all?
I do. It was almost on my list, except I thought about other games, but it was almost on this list. I really liked it. It was fun, and I played it solo.
Did you?
And that was pretty fun.
On Tabletop Sim?
Some of the rules were slightly different, which was kind of cool, but it played ultimately the same way, and it was pretty fun.
Okay, fair enough. Your number 7, just to keep things moving along, was Genotype. Okay, so tell me about this one.
It's a plant-based breeding dice game with equipment and dice rolling.
Yep, worker placement at its heart too. Yep.
There you go. That's the word.
There's work. You've got these little shovel trough things, I think, and you're placing them on various spots on the board, and you're trying to basically you've got these cards that tell you the genome type, like large F, small f, or whatever, the dominant recessive gene traits of the plant itself. And you're trying to basically use your troughs and your turns, your action points, to get what you need to fulfill these cards. So there's like card fulfillment in this game to help you generate points. But you're also going to be using worker placement to do other things, like there's science and research. I think you can hire people in this game, like helpers, to give you passive benefits. But yeah, it's definitely a colorful game, somewhat educational too. But I didn't like biology in high school. It was my least favorite of the sciences. I enjoyed physics and chemistry more, but that was just me. But biology was, yeah. Anyway, so what did you like about this one in specific? Did you care for anything?
I love the pundit square.
The punnet.
Like
Yes.
pundit, yes, pundit, whatever.
Pundit.
That's how much I love it. I know how to say it. So
Punnet. Yes.
the pundit square. And I like breeding stuff. Like I'm always in search of a cool type of breeding game.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that this mixed worker placement and dice, it's pretty cool. Like it was nice. It was cool. Sometimes there's a little bit of a take that mechanic, only in the sense that
You can block people.
you can yes, you can block people, and it's so frustrating. But I like the game.
That's the
It was
bane
a lot
of
fun.
most worker placement games, the fact that you can block. Some worker placement games let you get around that by going, assign one more worker than what's already there to go
Yeah.
there. But I don't think this game does that, and if it does, I forget.
It did, in the sense that you had like a bigger token, I think, and it counted like two, like as two workers, I think, or something like that.
Maybe. I
don't
vaguely
remember.
recall. That might have been Parkosaurus.
Oh, maybe. Never mind.
Maybe. All right. It's who knows. If Parkosaurus was the. And there's a dinosaur themed build your own dinosaur park board game. Parkosaurus might be the name of the video game. Anyway, I'm old. Don't get old.
Yeah.
Number 6, folks. Just moving on. Hadara was my number 6. This was like a civilization-esque builder, kind of, sorta. Reminded me a little bit of Splendor, just a smidgen. It had, basically, there's red, green, purple, yellow, and blue cards. And you're trying to grow your civilization by moving you've got 4 tracks. You've got yellow, red, blue, and green. And like one of them represents food and one represents military. And you're trying to add cards to your tableau in order to move these cards up your track. And the system is pretty interesting. I like it. And when you're on your turn, when you're going to grab a particular color, you have 2 cards. You have to put one face up into the discard area, and you keep one, which you pay for. But then you come back to the cards that are face up at some point and go through those. So I think the turns were fairly quick. They were simple. I think the biggest challenge in this game was trying to figure out what cards I wanted to take. You're always starved for money in this game, so trying to figure out which ones you want to throw away, which ones you want to keep. Do I have enough food to feed everybody? If that's the worst thing that could possibly happen in this game, is if you don't have enough food to feed anyone, you actually end up discarding cards that are in your tableau. And if you discard food cards and you bring yourself down even more, then you have to discard more cards to offset. It's a snowball effect. Luckily, I don't think that happened to us in this game. Do you remember this one?
I did like Hadara. That was another one that almost made it to my list.
Mm-hmm.
But I really, really enjoyed it when I first saw the tutorial on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, maybe I could like it. And then I played it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like a great game. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like the little turns.
Yeah, me too. All right. Your number 6 was what?
Pandemic Hot Zone.
Hot Zone. That's like mini Pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you like about this one?
This one was a lot easier to learn than the bigger Pandemic, I guess.
Yeah.
And this is co-op too, if I remember correctly.
It is.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm a sucker for co-op games.
Mm-hmm. And the original Pandemic, you had 4 viruses or whatever, bacteria, whatever it was that you had to cure. Mm-hmm. Whereas in this game, there's only 3, but the map is smaller. You're just dealing with the United States rather than the entire map. The globe, rather, the world. You know what I mean? You still have special abilities in this game, like the scientist and the engineer, or whatever other one. And it's the same abilities, too. Like this person, you can cure a disease by only discarding 4 cards instead of 5 of the same color. Or this person will help you communicate, and you can transfer cards to each other freely without having to be on each other, or something like that. So different characters have different abilities that will help you out. So if you liked Pandemic, but you found it too bulky to carry around, then I would say this is a good one. Hun, you got really dark.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Give me 1 minute. All right. Well, let's hope that was the one and only cut. It was weird. Like in the beginning of this video, you had that nice white natural light, and then for the next 20 minutes or whatever it was, like you just got darker and darker, and then you would. I'm like, are you in a jungle somewhere? Are you sure you're upstairs in my living room? Like it's anyway.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. But we
It
fixed
got
it.
really, really dark out. So
We fixed it. All right. So, Pandemic Hot Zone. What did you like about this?
I liked that it was co-op.
So number 6. The reason why it's on your list is because it's co-op.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cute. It was a lot easier to learn than the original Pandemic, I thought. And I don't know. It was a cute little travel game, I guess. I don't know. Was it a travel game?
It's not a travel game, but it's definitely smaller. So
Yeah.
you would definitely. I think this would be easier to take with you on vacation than bigger Pandemic. For sure.
Yep.
All right. So number 5, we're nearly halfway there. My number 5 was Steampunk Rally Fusion. Very similar to Steampunk Rally, but Fusion is the standalone follow-up to that, which I did back on Kickstarter because I really like Steampunk Rally, where you're building your own race ship, steampunk race ship, and you will be able to get different parts and add it to your ship, and you're going to be like using dice to track the heat levels on these parts of your ship. You don't get to roll them so much as you get to like you track. Well, first you get to roll them and then you get to put them on, but the higher the number, the longer you have to wait until it cycles down to 0, and then you can remove it, and then you get to use that part again. So there's sort of like a part management to this game, and also what do you add to your ship to help you. Now this is primarily a racing game, so you're trying to get your ship to go as fast and as far as you can on your turns while repairing any damage that might be thrown at you. The Steampunk Fusion game adds the whole fusion dice mechanic, and these dice are like one-offs, but the dice on them are extremely high, but it makes them extremely powerful in the process. Like the dice are like in the 9s, like it goes like, was it 3 to 12 or something like that? I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, these fusion dice are one-offs, unstable dice, but they've got really high values to them that make them very powerful, but they're a one-time use kind of thing. And it's a dice builder too. You're trying to add more dice and gather more dice so that you can then use them to your parts that you have on your ship. What did you like about Steampunk Rally Fusion, if you remember that game?
I liked this game a lot. It reminds me of Star Scrappers Orbital, I think it was. Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Star Scrappers Orbital was a game about building a space station or something like that. This is more of you start small and work your way into a bigger machine kind of thing. And I guess it's kind of similar to that. Although if I remember correctly in our playthrough, you were building your race car, steampunk ship, whatever. And in order to catch up to me, you like blew off every part of your ship. Like you were flying at the speed of light, but that caused so much damage to your ship that like you crossed the finish line with nothing but steering wheels in your hand. You had a steering wheel in your hand. That was it. It was just you were hovering in midair with just a steering wheel in front of you. That was it. It was hilarious. Like kamikaze race car.
I remember that game. Now I remember it.
Now that's pod racing right there. Okay.
I liked that a lot better than the Star Scrappers Orbital. I know it's like a racing board game type of thing, but it has the same layout where you have to kind of connect your ship in certain ways.
Right. This pipe connects to this pipe, and these parts connect to these parts, and
yeah. But yeah, I liked Steampunk. What is it? Steampunk Rally? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Steampunk Rally was the original board game, and then Steampunk Rally Fusion.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the board game that we're covering here.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I like that one. Okay, so that was my number 5. What was your number 5?
Destinies.
Destinies. I liked this game. Tell me about it.
It's like a D&D tabletop, I think.
It is.
With a phone that tells you like what the events are when you land on certain places, and it has so much freedom. Like you can go almost anywhere you want, and you can complete quests and side quests to get better gear, and it's really immersive, and it's a lot better than I thought it would be as an adventure game because it's very open worldy for like a small tabletop type of game.
Yep.
It's really well done. Like I was shocked at how well done it was, but it's all due to the fact that it has an actual app, too. So
Yeah, it's an adventure game where you take on the role of someone that's trying to complete their destiny, and you discover it's a tile laying game too. Like the players start off in like one tile, and surrounding tiles are there. But when you move on to a new tile, you then the app will tell you, okay, now add tile 25 here and 13 over here and 5 down here. So you're revealing more of the table as you explore. And I think 75% of this game are stat checks, where you've got there's a blue, green, and red stat tracker on your personal player board. And I think that represents like strength and dexterity and intelligence, stuff like that. And you've got these markers on your tracks that track these things. And the app might say, okay, you ran into a wolf. Now, what are you going to do? So you can either scan a card and scan the QR code on that card to instantly defeat it, assuming that card is ideal for that situation. It might be like a sword or some kind of item that you have. Or you can try and roll dice, and if you roll well enough, then you can succeed. The little trackers on your the little tokens on your trackers determine how many successes you get. So let's say that you've got a token on your 6 and a token on your 9. If you roll a 7, that means you've succeeded on the 6 there and got 1 success, but you did not roll a 9 or higher to succeed on that second token. So that's not 2 successes, but only 1. You type into the app 1 success, and if the computer is programmed to say whatever, like, oh, is 1 success good enough to get you past this? Yes? Okay, this is what happened. Or no, this is what happened. So there's a lot of things in this game that force you to roll dice to stat check to see whether or not you get past something. But again, if you've got the item in your inventory, sometimes you can just instantly beat it. Most of these items are consumable. You use them and you lose them kind of thing. But your ultimate goal really is to go around the board and try and complete your hidden objective, your destiny. The other players do not know what that destiny is, but you do. You have one of 2 that you get to choose from. And you can swap between them too. Like you've got a purple one and a gold one. And you might be going after the gold one, and now you're after the purple one. Whatever one looks cool right now, you're going to go after it. But ultimately, you're trying to complete one of them in order to beat the game. Did anything else to say about this before we move on?
Destinies was a lot of fun.
Okay, I agree. I did not enjoy the RNG with the dice rolling. Sometimes it really works against you. But I do like the fact that despite, even if you lose a dice roll, you still typically get some kind of reward or something like that to where you're not set back too much. You know what I mean? So, okay. I guess we will move on to our number 4. I'll go ahead and move on to that. My number 4 was Furnace. This is a game that we played recently, and this is an engine builder, surprise. I think 9 out of 10 games on this list, at least with regard to me, are engine builders, because I love them. But typically it's part bidding, part engine building, where you have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 token. These are bidding tokens. And you put them down on the cards that are for auction. And you typically, if you win the auction, you get to keep the card and add it to your tableau, and then you can activate each card in your tableau once on your turn. But if you lose the card to someone else, you still get like a consolation prize. At the very top of the card is like it's a weaker action that you can get as a one-time thing to take. So if Ida Lee outbids me on a card and gets to take it, if I bid on it, still get to take the top action, which might be collect 2 of this resource or convert this material into this material, however many times. And the number token that you have on that determines how many times you can do it, which is cool. There are different character abilities that you can have. Like each character starts with like a special ability that sort of break the rules in some way. It's up to you if you want to play with them or not. But what did you think of Furnace?
I liked Furnace. I had to research it a little bit because I completely forgot what it was at first. But now then I saw a video. Sorry. No, but then I saw a video and I was like, oh, okay, I remember this. We had to like do something with oil and convert it into stone or something like that or whatever. And I remember you kicked my butt in that one.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, I don't know. Yeah. It was close. Yeah. I'm sure it was close.
Sure. It was a lot of fun. I liked that one. It's frustrating though, like, because when you're not winning, it's like pulling teeth. Like you grit your teeth and you just want to like make a comeback and you just can't.
When your engine isn't going as well as your opponent's, it's like a slow death, you know?
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah. All right. So what was your number 4?
My number 4 was Dice Hospital.
Dice Hospital. This is a cool little game. Why don't you tell me about it?
You take care of patients that are dice, I think.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Yes. They come in. If they go down to 1, or I think it's either 1 or below 1, they die. If you're trying to get them to 6 so that you can cure them and discharge them. What separates this game from other hospital games that I've played is that you're trying to... Like, you're actually awarded more points if you take care of more than 1 dice on your turn at a time. So, like, discharging 1 patient, you get some points for that. But if you discharge 2 or 3 patients at the same time, you get bonus points. So it's like you're trying to chain your abilities together so that you can discharge as many dice as you can at the same time to score the most points. And the cool thing about this game is that each player starts with a generic board, each with its different abilities on it. But you can actually acquire either more tiles to add to your board or staff to help you do things. But yeah, it's a dice manipulation game where patients come in at a certain number. You're drafting these dice from these ambulances, but they come in with certain numbers, and you're trying to use the abilities on your board to manipulate the dice upward so that they don't die. If you don't treat them on your turn, they go down. If your hospital is too full when you're drafting dice, and you must draft dice, then they instantly die. So you have to make sure that you're treating enough patients to stop that from happening. What did you like specifically about Dice Hospital that it's number 4 on your list?
I remember really enjoying my time with it a lot, and I remember wanting to play, Theme Hospital afterwards?
Is that 2 Point Hospital or?
2 Point Hospital. Oh my god, why did I say Theme Hospital?
Well, there's a theme park for the PC, and then, so maybe you're thinking of that. Well, park, actually, 2 Point Hospital is kind of similar to Theme Park. So I can see where you're going with that. But those are both computer games, folks, for those of you that don't play them.
It made me want to play 2 Point Hospital after playing Dice Hospital, but I remember really enjoying the dice manipulation of this game, and I felt for the ones that died, because I was trying so hard to save them and I couldn't.
In your defense, I don't think too many did die. I think you did. I think both did pretty well.
I'll be completely honest, I don't remember. But I do remember the enjoyment I had playing this game.
And killing your patients. Got it. Okay, Dr. Koborkin. All right.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Jeez. With that being said, number 3. Okay. My number 3 was Neom, which is a SimCity-esque builder game, tile game, where you're growing your city. Green is residential, blue is commercial, yellow is industrial, orange is like community. And you have to connect these tiles via roads. It's really cool. It's got a Seven Wonders vibe for sure, where, you know, if you've ever played the board game or the app Seven Wonders, it plays very similarly to that. In a 3 or more player game, it's a sushi go pass and draft kind of thing, where pick one, pass your hand. Oh, you got a new hand from your partner or from your opponent. Pick one, pass your hand. In a 2-player game, the tiles are faced up for you to pick from, similar to that of, say, Seven Wonders Duel. So it's like a cross between like Seven Wonders and like SimCity or City Skylines, that kind of thing. And it's a really good game. We played that recently, and I think we had a good time with it. I think you had more enjoyment, though, out of the way your city, not how many points you were earning, but what kind of buildings you had in your city, and you were like telling a story as you went. Like,
wasn't that Happy City?
No, I think it was Neom. Happy City was something else too.
Okay. Yeah, with Neom, it was kind of cool seeing like where the residential was compared
You had factories all over the place. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, compared to the industrial and the commercials and where they are.
There is. Yeah, like in Seven Wonders, you can earn resources in this game. And you once you have a resource in your city, you get a token to represent that you have it now. You can never lose it unless you get rid of the unless you get rid of the tile in question that's producing it. But you outproduced me big time in this game. You had almost every resource that I had. Like, I don't know, it wasn't a whole lot, but you almost beat me in resources. Had it not been for my my purple tiles, which are like end game victory point ones, you would have beaten me. Hands down.
Yeah,
you did very
I think
well.
I was down by 2 points, wasn't it? Or something like that. Maybe more.
It was close.
But my tile placement, I was actually getting locked in. Like, the RNG of the tiles that were coming up were not in my favor at all. It was starting to dwindle, and I was beginning to lock myself in, so it was rough. But that was a fun game. I liked that one.
The only thing I didn't like was the disaster tiles. There's one in each of the 3 epics or whatever they're called.
Oh yeah, the PvPs.
We didn't partake in those when they came up. We ignored them, which I think made the game better. Honestly, those disasters, they charge like fires, and I don't know what else there is, but you need specific tiles to combat them, and if you don't have them, you end up paying out the wazoo for them, or you lose tiles. I didn't like that. I would remove them completely from the game to enjoy it personally.
They're more for like the hardcore players, I guess.
If you like Take That, then great, but for those that don't, get rid of them. Just you can thank me now, or thank me later. What was your number 3?
My number 3 was Dice Throne.
Okay, so you tell me, what did you like about Dice Throne? I kind of hinted at it already, but what did you like about it?
Okay, let me first say this. I'm not a PvPer. I don't like Take That mechanics.
ARAM, but continue.
That's different.
Okay.
The only reason why I play ARAM is because I get more XP from it. Anyways, that's Heroes of the Storm.
And League of Legends, but continue. Okay.
Okay, so with Dice Throne, I think my favorite mode, instead of having 1v1, my favorite mode is actually 2v2. Because I like that you can team up with your person and, try to take the other team down. I think that's pretty fun. But I love Dice Throne because of all the classes and all the different abilities. And the way that when you roll dice, you can, like, put your dice in certain areas and try to get like a specific ability off, which is one of my favorite things to do in match 3 battle games. Not match 3 regular games, those are crap, but the match 3 battle games, those are so much fun. And that reminds me of Dice Throne, where you roll dice and you try to position them into making an ability and putting it to your opponent.
I like each character class. Like, I have not played as all of them, but they have their own distinct feel. Like, the Pyromancer is about burning the crap out of your opponent as quickly as possible. Like, you want to burn them down, like, damage. The Vampire, on the other hand, they do have some direct damage, but you can also, like, suck the life out of them and actually life steal. So the Paladin is great for blocking and redirecting damage. the ninja, I think, can like debuff you in different ways, or even go hidden or stealth or whatever it's called to completely negate damage or half it or something. Like each class is very unique and has a different set of skills that make them feel unique. And I think that, and it's well balanced too. Every single game that you and I have played, it's been very close.
Yeah.
Despite the different play styles. Yeah.
It's so much fun. Even when you're losing, it's actually a lot of fun.
Because you can come back from it. There is a resource mechanic to this as well. Like you have currency that you earn, control points, CP maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but you have cards in your hand and you can play them, and you can even upgrade your abilities on your tableau too. Certain cards that you have in your hand. These cards replace the abilities that are already there on your board and make them even more powerful. So you can opt to make a better character, or you can just opt to play these one-off cards that allow you to reroll dice, allow you to interrupt your opponent from doing something, that kind of thing. So yeah, each character has their own dice, their own deck. They're all very well balanced and very well done. Dice Throne is definitely on my list and on your list for a reason. So, anything else to say about it?
It's great.
It's great. It's expensive though. That's the only downside.
It's
to get season 2, I think it is, or season 1. I think season 1 and season 2, you're looking at like under $100, like just under 100, something like that. It's my only complaint. But you'll probably get a lot of mileage out of this, so it might be worth it. They do sell them in different packs. So like 2 characters in this pack, but you're looking 25 for these 2, 25 for these 2, or what have you. I don't like that, but yeah. Anyway, we are on number 2 at this point?
Number 2.
Okay, my number 2 is a game called Moonrakers. I liked this game. It was very well done. I saw this on Facebook, of all things, an ad on Facebook. And I messaged the developer, he sent one to me, and it's great. I mean, this is a deck builder, but ultimately, there's a lot going on here. You have like a player board that you're adding stuff to your ship, but on top of that, you get to ask for help from your friends. So let's say that you're taking on this event or whatever, and its difficulty is this, and you know what you need to draw from your cards in order to succeed against this challenge. But typically, these challenges are weighted so that one person typically can't do them on their own unless they have a deck of cards that they've built that allow them to continue to generate more cards and to generate more actions. Because you have the cards in your hand and you've got maybe 2 or 3 action points or 3 cards that you can play. But these cards grant you more action points, more card draws, that kind of thing. If you think you can cycle your entire deck to take care of a challenge, great. But you may need to ask for help. And this is the part I like. You can go, hey, Ida Lee, would you like to help me with this challenge? Meaning she gets her own turn, her own crack at it. Her results add to mine. And if our combined results beat the challenge, then we win. But then haggling. She gets to go, yeah, I'll help you, but I want that reward. I want this resource and this resource, but you can keep that. Or I want this, but you can have this. Or something like that. So then we have to try and haggle for, I'll help you, but, And you're trying to earn so many victory points in order to win the game. I really like this. So it's deck builder, there's haggling, there's challenges that you have to do. Do you remember this one?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and what did you think?
And I liked it. I did like it a lot. I forgot what I didn't like about it.
Well, there was a lot to this game.
There was something that I didn't like about it. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
But I did like it. I remember liking the card system. I remember liking the actions and trying to do missions and asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
Was
the quality of the cards were good, and the tokens felt really nice. They felt like real coins. They weren't that cheap plastic stuff. They were weighted. Really
Did
nice.
you just say there was like a bidding mechanic, like how much you can help me, like
Yeah,
yeah, up,
it was haggling.
okay,
There's a haggling
yeah,
mechanic
okay. That's
where
probably what I didn't
I
like.
well you don't like bidding games.
Yeah.
So there
Hmm.
was some bidding involved where you're haggling over what you want to bid on, or you're haggling over what the reward is going to be. And typically I'm able to get more out of you than you would like.
Hmm.
Just because you're like, yeah, whatever, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't fight too much when it comes to those bidding games, those haggling
Yeah.
games. But this is a great game, especially when you're playing with multiple people. Learning who you can haggle with and who's like really it's like Munchkin, Steven Jackson's Munchkin, where you also need to, in that game you're fighting monsters, and you may need help fighting the monsters, so you ask someone for help. So it's got a Munchkin mechanic where other players can help you, and you're trying to reach a certain victory point limit to win the game, again like in Munchkin. But you've also got this deck building thing going on, similar to Munchkin, and this you're building, you're adding extra parts, I think, to your spaceship or something like that, in order to make it better and give yourself passive abilities. All of that's really good. So yeah, Moonrakers was my number 2. What was your
Cool.
number 2?
Mine, I was battling. Okay, I was battling on whether or not to put this as my number 1 or my number 2.
Really? Okay.
Yes, I was battling hard. But this is my number 2, and it is Dimension.
Dimension. This is this gave me the cold sweats, just because like I hate games that rush me. This is a timer puzzle game. But yeah, tell me about it. What do you like about this?
I like that it gives the cold sweats because it gives me the cold sweats.
Is cold sweats the right term? Is it hot sweats? I don't know anymore. It just
think it's
it
cold
makes me
sweats.
nervous.
Right?
I hate games that rush me and there's a timer.
Yeah.
You've got to basically the game will task you. It'll deal out cards, basically rules. There are rules on these cards. Like this color cannot be touching this color, or you need to have 3 of this color, or only 1 of this color, or this one can be touching this one, but this color can't be touching this. So you have to create a particular design with these balls. They're colored balls, and you have to adhere to all of these rules. And the more rules you adhere to, the more points you earn. That's the crux of this, and you have to do it within the time limit, and it's difficult.
Yeah. I mean, you can always house rule it and extend the time limit, I guess.
Yeah.
But I loved the puzzle aspect. I loved the fact that there is a time limit because it makes your brain start thinking, and you're just like trying to put the pieces in the right, way, as the cards would say, following the cards' rules. It was just a lot of fun. It was so simple, and it was so easy, and it was so like you can wrap your head around the game pretty darn quickly. And yeah, I don't know, I thought it was fun. The balls are good quality and they're hilarious when they're not really going your way.
Like when you're just finished with it, and then you look at the last rule and you're like, oh no, I can't have that here. So then you move this. Oh, I can't do that because of this.
Like
oh, I can't.
everything just topples over.
Yes, it's a snowball effect. It's terrible. Yeah.
I will say on Tabletop Simulator digital, it's terrible. Like I wish
Oh
they.
yeah, physics games on a tabletop digital game. It's tough to do and
It should
enjoy.
have. Yeah, instead of actually having like balls to drag on, because it's really hard to actually place them, they should have made it where it was like clickable. Like this in slot 1, and like the pyramid slots should have been numbered, and then you could put the balls in those numbers, and then it'll get dragged to that place or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like to mention, but not enough. I didn't like the time limit, but I like that
I
it's
know.
flexible enough. The rules are flexible enough to where you can get rid of the timer. You could deal 4 rule cards for kids instead of 6 or 8 or whatever the standard is. You know what I mean? So you can be as casual as you want to be with this, which I like. So any game that lets you adjust the rules to suit your play style and your group's play style, that's good. My number 1 was a game called Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. This is the card game standalone follow-up to Terraforming Mars, the board game. I like Terraforming Mars, the board game. The quality of the board game, the original, not so much. I played Terraforming Mars on the digital PC for a while, and I really like it. Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition is sort of like Race for the Galaxy, and the style that it plays, which is really interesting. You're still doing a lot of similar things, like you're trying to manage all these different resources across all these different tracks. Okay, you're trying to manage your mega credits or whatever they're called. You're trying to level up your iron and your steel, and you're generating heat and power and all the stuff that you know of from Terraforming Mars. It's in here. But you've got this Race for the Galaxy round system where each player chooses what phase is going to happen in this round. So there are 5 total phases, but if I choose phase 1 and Idly chooses phase 3, only phase 1 and 3 are acted on this round and nothing else. So each round is going to be different based on who chooses what. And whatever round is chosen, if you chose that round, you get a special bonus. So, draw 3 cards instead of 2, get the idea, depending on the round, or depending on the phase that you choose. But I really like this. It's a deck builder. You are trying to build a tableau of cards that generate resources for you and generate points for you, ultimately. And we played this for, an hour? And we had 0 points between us still. We were just having fun building our tableau. We didn't care about points. We were just building this grand structure on Mars or whatever it was, or on Ares, rather. What did you like about this, if anything?
Terraforming Mars, like you said, it closely played like Race to the Galaxy. I still think Race to the Galaxy is far superior, but this was pretty fun. I liked this a lot better than the original board game.
You liked the Ares Expedition, this Ares, the separate standalone, better than the original board game. Okay.
Yes.
Any particular reason why?
I don't know. I like the cards. Like, just, you have like a handful of cards, right? And isn't it like a sort of like an engine builder?
It is an engine builder. And in Terraforming Mars, you were physically terraforming Mars. Like, you were adding water tiles to it and green plant tiles and cities. This is different. On the Ares Expedition, you're just flipping over a hexagon every now and again tile from the Ares board. And you're not really putting cities down. You're just flipping tiles for bonuses. So it was less of a terraforming game, really. I mean, yeah.
It was more focused on the cards.
Yeah, it's definitely more card-based than terraforming a physical piece of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I liked it.
And
I
really liked that, honestly. I liked that the board was changed because of the cards that you had, and you can have like a lot of cards to like really fluctuate things, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I just know that in our playthrough, it was I didn't even look at your board. I was having too much fun. I had a gazillion cards in my tableau. You had a gazillion cards. It was a mess, but it was a lot of fun.
It was a fun mess.
What was your number one?
Bullet.
Okay, so we talked about this already. It's like a Tetris-esque kind of game where stuff falls down from your top line and you're trying to destroy them before they reach your bottom. And what's cool is that each character has different abilities in this game that target using patterns. So this character might target things with an X pattern, meaning that you remove all of the tokens on your board in an X pattern of the place of your choice, or maybe a square pattern or whatnot. So you have to sort of like be strategic about which ones you want to take out, kind of thing. What was this number one on your list? Like, what did you like about it?
I love this game. It was so Tetris-y, kind of, and it was a lot of fun, and I don't even mind losing. And I kept wanting to push my luck. Like, there's some hit or miss games with push your luck that I find that are like hit and miss words, but
words.
This one was great because I did not mind pushing my luck even to the point of losing because it's it was a lot of fun to see which token you had next and to see if you can try to make it. And oh my gosh, digital. I said I wanted a digital version of this and they made it on Tabletop Sim. And it's fantastic, dude. And I want to play this with like 12 other people just to see how much of a different gameplay there is.
Well, there's multiple modes too. There's the
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Go for it.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, if I can form my words correctly enough, I was just gonna say that there are multiple modes, and there's this team mode that I love so much, and you have to like take down this power boss, and then it kind of has like a dice thrown thing where it has so many different classes and like different types of girls, because what are they, like Japanese girls?
I'm guessing they're like anime girls, but I don't know too much about the lore or the history of the manga. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that like you mentioned, Dice Throne has unique characters. This game has unique characters. They have different skill levels too. Like these set of girls are good for a beginner. This one's more for intermediate or advanced player. And like you said, each one has different abilities. So, this girl might be able to flip tokens over on her board to make them wild so that when you're targeting a yellow, well, you just made it a wild, so now you can target it. It used to be red, but you flipped it over, now it's a neutral color. So now you can get rid of it with any card rather than look for a card that focuses entirely on red or something. You get the idea. So I love that. And you mentioned a boss mode too, and those bosses are really hard to take down. I wish there was like an easy mode for those bosses, because I don't think I've ever won a single game against a boss. But I did like this game, and it was on my list too for a reason. I like the abilities too. Like, you have action points that you have, and you can spend these action points on various, again, each girl, I guess, has their own unique set of actions that they can take. Move a token up this way by 2 spaces or left over this way, in order to create a pattern so that your cards can then target more of them in one go.
Yeah.
So, anything else to say about Bullet?
I think this is a great game that everyone should play at least once in their lives.
Agreed. I'm sure Level 99 Games will be happy to hear that.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, there you go, folks. That was our top 10 board games that we've played in 2021 that we really like. Please go check them out. I have links in the below description, hopefully, if I remember. That'll take you to various sites. You can support me on Amazon or Green Man Gaming, wherever else. Feel free to buy games from those sites and help me out. Patreon is another great way to support me. I do send out Steam keys every month to the top 3 supporters, and I do have a shout out in my I do have a shout out in my podcast that I do every month for all of my Patreon and Twitch subscribers. So there are multiple ways to support me, but if you want to learn more about these games, I have videos on my YouTube channel. Use the search feature if I forget to include links in the description. If you guys haven't already, subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vincent Adelie. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.